Welcome back to the channel, everybody. This is Todd, Southern Sipper, coming to you from, this is from a spare bedroom in my son's apartment in the greater Las Vegas metropolitan area. We have managed to get ourselves back down from the mountains of Utah. We had an absolute blast up there. It's crazy beautiful up there in those mountains. We were at 9,900 feet. I am not used to that kind of altitude. I went out and did some walking around. It doesn't take much to get winded, but man, is all the views and everything is stunning. It's so arid and dry here and up there that it's got my sinuses and everything else a bit jacked up. It's just crazy, but we're having a ball. So why am I locked up in the spare bedroom? Biggest reason is I want to get a review in, and I hope to get 3 of these done. I really don't see how I'm going to get them done before we have to go home. And I'm too much of a old fuddy-duddy, for lack of a better term, to try to get any of this stuff back to the great state of Alabama. So even though I admittedly did take a few minutes to look up some tips and tricks on how to do it, I don't think I have the guts to actually do it. Got a couple of days to work up the courage before we get out of town. We shall see. Now, what are we doing? This is the Ha Mighty Mango. Now, this is a 3-to-1 THC to CBD. It's actually three times the CBD, 1 part THC. These are 10 milligram gummies each of THC. So it'll be, I suppose, 30 milligrams of CBD. Now, this bag has already been opened because everybody whose name is not Todd has already been in them. Now, one thing I found really interesting with these, and it's never in hell going to show up on this camera, but I'll try it. I see these other people, they put their hand behind stuff and all that. The letters THC is embossed on this gummy, so I guess if, I don't know whose benefit that is for. You take that with a grain of salt. Now, also, I've done little or no homework on these things, and that's because I don't like doing a lot of looking up too much stuff on my phone. I'm too old, and I just don't enjoy it. So I looked this up briefly on my phone. It's 15 calories. That's just going to be sugar, but they are vegan. If that means anything to you. Instead of, all of the necessary nutritional and ingredient information, you get like this big warning sticker on the back with all sorts of, it's a best by date of next year. It was made in August of this year, and got a product run number, keep out of reach of children. That kind of goes without saying. And that's it. Not a lot else to look over. I don't even have a little table that I normally have. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm sitting on a little stool. I miss my damn big comfy padded patio chair that I usually get to sit in and do this stuff. And I just feel out of sorts sitting in here doing this. If it comes across that way, I apologize. Now, as usual, there's going to be a part 2. Everybody's taking the night off, and we're hanging out tonight. I know tomorrow night we're going to go stroll up and down Fremont. There's a place that Michelle and I like to eat when we're in town. We're going to hit that. So my night, I probably can't get a review out tomorrow night, and then we're leaving not long after that. So I really, like I said, I don't know how in the hell I'm going to get 3 of these done. I'm just going to have to flip these over here onto the floor. I don't even have my little trusty little knife. I got this little paring knife affair. Now these are 10 milligrams, and I am going to cut. Now what's going to happen is I'm cutting this one in half. I'm going to do 5 milligrams. This is the first, these real cannabis-based gummies that I have in my lifetime had. I did have a Delta 9 soda. Not Delta 9 soda. It's a real THC soda, and it was a 10 milligram. I think I drank a little bit more than really enjoyed that a lot. So anyway, down the hatch. Well, this is a Mighty Mango. I don't care what they do to these gummies, but sometimes that grassy, herbally, and a little bit of terpenes makes it through, especially on the finish. This is really bitter at the end. It tastes nice, up front, but I mean, it's like a nice mango-y gummy, but the aftertaste on it is not particularly pleasant. But I mean, that's not why we're eating them, is it? It's really not for. It's really not for the flavor, children. So let's just get that out of the way right now. Now, Lord have mercy. I've mentioned this in the past that because I'm old as shit, I have to take blood pressure medication. Now, it's a really small dose of a 2-part medication, and one of them makes one of the side effects for some people is they cough so bad they have to find something else to take. For me, I do a lot of throat clearing during the course of a day, and up here, this dry air is really exacerbating that situation. And that's the biggest reason that I want to vape on the channel. I do. And I would love to do pre-rolls on the channel. But it sends me into absolute convulsions. It would make for some hilarious friggin' content. There's no doubt about that. But I just can't do it. It would take way too much editing to get all that crap out of there before I sounded like, a human being again. So it's just not something I can do. That's why I stick to gummies and beverages and whatever else in that, in that type of edible, drinkable area that I can come up with. And I do. I'm on the hunt all the time for something different, to put on the channel. I feel like sometimes I'm just doing reruns, but it is what it is. I can't help it. It runs in the family, and I'm I did recently went on a kick. I'm not gonna say a kick. That's just a dumb term for me to use. Gained a bunch of weight. Wasn't happy about it. And to be perfectly honest, I did a video standing up, and it embarrassed me. So I went back to the way things were before I moved back to Alabama with exercise and diet and all that stuff, the way I was living there, which was uber healthy. And I am back down to my fighting weight, which is around 170 pounds. Feeling better. I still, look, man, I'm still old as shit. So I got all the old aches and pains of an old fart, but I still feel a lot better, and I'm a lot happier this way. Don't plan on going back anytime soon. And it has helped a bunch to get that level of fitness back on this trip because, we've done a lot of sightseeing and whatnot. And at this altitude, it, made life a whole lot easier, and I was able to really keep up with my son, who's 27 years old, and bouncing bouncing around, and it made life on this trip so much better. However, no amount of weight loss or anything else is going to get my blood pressure uh, back down to a level that doesn't take some sort of management through medication. So I'm just stuck with that. I'm assuming forever, but that's a small price to pay, man. I got friends my age that got a damn suitcase full of pills, and I take two. Blood pressure, and the other one's a diuretic. And honestly, I could probably, if I talked to my doctor about it, I could probably get rid of the diuretic, and I might do that because it affects other things, man, like go to the Mardi Gras parades and all that kind of shit, and got to really watch how much I'm drinking down there because you're gonna have to pee, and I mean you're gonna pee a bunch. So those pills don't get taken till I get home. So there you have it. All right, now I've done what I always say I'm not going to do. I've sat here and for well over 10 minutes. I got to do a second half, and the second half, that's the thing. I need to learn how to save something to talk about, even though I don't. I struggle to keep those thoughts in line to get that done. It might be a little easier with this one because, I went in a dispensary and bought these. I'm under no obligation to give a hell of a lot of particular information on that, and so we'll talk about absolute freaking nonsense when I come back, and some stuff that I have to get done on the channel at home prior, because there are packages on the front porch. I had to call my neighbor and get him to hide them or take them over to his house. So, and they're going to want they want to get their stuff up because one of them is fairly time sensitive because via email I know that they want to get a review up because they're running specials through the Halloween and actually through Thanksgiving. So you know what? There's a joke. Gummies, THC, for through Thanksgiving. Eat that. Get yourself a good case of the munchies going, and then go in there and bust off on that turkey. So anyway, I said I wasn't. I said I needed to save something else to talk about, and here I am. I've done another freaking 2 minutes. So I'm gonna shut this thing off because everybody else is down the hallway, having a grand old evening with their feet propped up. We're watching my son and his girlfriend play. I don't even know the name of it. It looks really cool on. Here's how old I am. I'm assuming it's Xbox. It's actually quite entertaining to sit there and watch it because I know I can't do it. And have a couple of beers, despite the fact that I'm doing this, because the beer I've been able to locate here in the Las Vegas area has been way good, and I'll take advantage of it. I did record. Oh God, stop talking. All right, I'm just going to quit freaking talking. Anyway, hour and a half, 2 hours, as usual. I'll be back. Welcome back to the channel. Oh shit. Welcome back to part 2 of the Haha Mighty Mango 10 milligrams, 3-to-1, 3-part CBD to 1-part THC review. Now, we went in Planet 13. There's a short, because I sent that up standing in the store. Did some shopping. And bought these ha-has. There was a ha-ha rep walking around. Not walking around. They had a table out front before you got in the door. And when I There's little to no real info on the package. I just know that they are vegan. And I did a quick peruse of the website, which I hate doing on my phone. I really hate doing a lot of, looking up things, research and whatnot with my phone. I'm just old. I just hate doing it. It's one of the things. One of the other things I'm missing about being at home doing this, because I sit down at the computer and get info, and so I act. At least it comes across, or I try to come across like I know what the hell I'm talking about. But 99% of the times I don't. So anyway, I cut it in half. If you somehow miss that part, and I had about 5 milligrams.
It's 10:30. I'm going to bed. Everybody else is already gone to bed.
I'm give me less than 10.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, it's one of the reasons I went ahead and got up, or hung in there a little bit later, and then got up and came back here, because everybody's starting to wind down. It's a good excuse to just sneak out. What the hell? Where was I? What I do want to mention is onset was between 30 and 45. I was, it's coming. And in about an hour and a half, I felt like I was where I was going to get. And about the 2 hour mark, now wish I had my watch on. I'm somewhere pushing 2.5 hours. And I think I'm on the downhill, which kind of leads me to the opinion that this the real cannabis derived may not quite have the staying power of the hemp derived stuff that I'm used to back in Alabama. Now, everything else I'm going to say, dose wise and all that, it's super comparable. I mean, it's right in there. With how relaxed I am and how horrible it is for me to try to focus and keep a solid train of thought. I am super ready to go get in the bed, because I could go. I might not make it to the pillow. All that stuff is right in there. It's so similar. I may be a bit more giggly, watching stuff, because listening to everybody in there, than I would be on that hemp derived. But part of that's probably because so much more of what I do when I'm at home, I'm by myself. It's rare I get in a social situation with friends and partake. Now it's happened, and I'll tell you, it was we're all friends. We've known each other a long time. From some silly shit going on, and a lot of cutting up and laughing. So I may be just misleading myself a little bit there. It's a good chance that that's the case. Got this bag in my hands. This is something else. I don't have a little table. I don't have anywhere to put my stuff down. It's just, I'm all out of sorts, man. I like my chair outside, and I like my little chair. I got kind of it's wedged up in a corner, to do these part twos, because it gets dark out. They're just comfy. I could sit there and just ramble on, and here I'm half-ass balanced on a damn stool. I don't have a table. I just like, that's another thing about getting old. You don't like change, you don't like to have to adapt, but here we are. Now, granted, I'm not complaining. I get to see my son about once a year. And that's when we come out here. He's been home. There's a beer review. I tell you what, I'll link that we did. There's also a whiskey review that we did on his trip down. Did a beer review with him and my mom. That was fun. So he's been here, but we've been up there far more. And the biggest reason for that is it's just easier for me and Mrs. Sipper to travel than it is for him if his girlfriend comes with him, because they have a big ass dog, and it costs them a bundle to board that one. And I got, y'all all know Rescue Sipper. She's this big, and they board where Mrs. Sipper takes her to get her hair cut and get that coif, and they're cheap, and she knows them because she's in there, getting that puppy manicure nonsense often enough. So it just works. That's just easier. That's the biggest reason. And now, granted, it's easier for him to get to the airport because he can Spirit. I don't know if anybody have flown Spirit, and I'm not going to complain about it, but the seats are garbage. There's not a lot of room, but for me to drive, I have to drive to New Orleans. That's a 2-hour run over there, depending. And sometimes I can get a flight out of Gulfport. That's just a little over an hour. He can be at the airport in 15 minutes. So, I mean, that's the only advantage there is for him to travel here versus us traveling there. So there you go. I mean, he's got spare rooms and stuff. All that business is fine. It's just the expense for him is greater than it is for us. So at some point, he'll make the run back down here again. We'll, of course, have a blast when he does, just like we enjoy, have a ball when we're up there. Oh, good Lord. One thing that's comical for me when I do the second half of these videos, sometimes when I'm talking, my brain's telling me you're absolutely making 0 sense. You are making no sense whatsoever. And then when I edit, I watch most of it back, and I'm watching it going, the hell, man, you ain't half as bad as you think you are when you're high. It's just, I'm and I'm by myself. I mean, I'm sitting here, there's nobody else in the room, and it's like I'm self-conscious about it. That's just cracks me up. Now, once I turn this thing off, everything's back to normal. I go in there, sit down, relax, do whatever it is we're doing, whether it's watching some silly crap on TV or playing around on a computer and whatnot. Everything's fine. But when I'm sitting here talking, I just feel like I must sound like a complete idiot until I watch it back. That's one of the reasons that I can sit here and make myself just keep going, man. You're not doing that bad. So there's that pile of nonsense. I'm gonna. I ran long on the first half, and I've run a little long, and not made a whole lot of sense in the second half. So I'm going to wrap this one up. I know absolutely I'm going to do one more of these before I have to fly out. I don't know, because I don't know what all we're going to do. I'm desperately trying. I don't want to dictate, itinerary. We're essentially a big group, and I want to get along, and if we all agree on what we're doing, then we're all going to enjoy ourselves. That's kind of what I'm trying to say. So, if there's another night that we just feel like chilling out and all that sort of stuff, I'll get the third one done. There you have it. That took it was a long way to get to that. Wow. Anyway, yeah. In the second one, I'll try to remember. The hell I had what else I was going to sit here and try to cover, but Jesus, it just, oh well. So let me just wrap this thing up and say that please like and God Almighty, why is it that I can't remember that when I do these? Please like and subscribe. And I really wish I could remember to say that early. Maybe I could figure out how to put a subscribe button up at the front. That would probably be smart. And try to always enjoy these types of products responsibly.